come in 11th hour, or you come in, you know, or you came in, 20, 25, or 30 years ago. What matters is that you are in this spiritual ark of believers and that you remain there. That's what matters. So that's the first precept. I got another one. Let's go to Romans, the 9th chapter. Because it doesn't matter. What matters is having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's all that matters. Having this truth. So when you go to Romans 9, in verse 14, it gives a little more light on this. Romans 9 and 14, and it says, what shall we say then? So going back to those here in Matthew 20 and in verse 10, it says, but when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good men of the house, speaking to Yahushua, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden of the day. Those have been doing the work for some time. Here's what the Most High will say there. Romans 9 and verse 14, and it reads, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. So the scriptures say, is there unrighteousness with the Most High? And we're going to get the reason why the Lord said this. Verse 15, for he have said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So the Lord does what he wills. Whatever his will is what he does. So he's not unrighteous, So it doesn't matter, about who came in the truth when, or whose portion is what, or who's the best teacher, or who got the most precepts, who's the deepest. None of that matters. All that matters is salvation, and going out and doing this work to the best of your ability, pertaining to your portion that the Lord gave you. It says, and I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, it's not of man's will, nor of him that runneth, when you get this truth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. So the Most High is the one that organizes everything through the Spirit to give to every man according to his purpose. You see? It's also precept in I believe it's in Job also. Let's see if I can find it in Job. I believe it's Job 33. Job 33, yeah. Job 33 and verse 12, it reads, behold, in this thou art not just, I will answer thee that the Most High is greater than man. Let's go back to verse, yeah, that the Most High is greater than man. Job 33 and 13, why doest thou strive against him? That means, why would you question the Most High? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. The Most High don't have to break nothing down to nobody. He gave his word. We're supposed to follow his word, which is following him, and learn how to play our role in our position. For the Most High giveth not account, for he giveth not account of any of his matters. For the Most High speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth not. So the Most High is constantly, through the Spirit, showing and teaching and reproving and correcting and leading and guiding us. But man has a problem with perceiving what the Most High is saying, because you have to receive what the Most High say in the Spirit. You can't do it being carnal. You have to be spiritual. So that goes in further proof of that the Most High shows mercy who he will show mercy to. So those that he bring in the fold later, hey, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that we come into the spiritual ark once again. Let's continue on. Continue on reading. Let's go to got a few more lines. Try to get through most of this chapter. This is verse 13. This is Matthew 20 and 13, going more into the parable, of the penny. It's red letter Yahushua continuing on. But he answered one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? Because, see, truthfully, this truth, was a blood oath. Us coming, serving the Most High, was a blood oath that was made with the nation of Israel, and the Most High. So, truthfully and honestly, this oath that was made, when you go back and read this verse again, Matthew 20 and verse 13, it reads, but he answered But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? The covenant that was made. That covenant that was made was a blood covenant. And we are still under that covenant, the first covenant. You know, and the new covenant is coming, is when the Most High is going to make us perfect in His sight. By taking away the stony heart. By giving us those angelic bodies, those celestial bodies, the bodies of the heavens. Hey, Shalom, brother, how you doing today? Giving us those angelic bodies. You know, giving us salvation. You know, giving us the kingdom, rulership, dominion, for the earth to be in order again under Yasha Allah. So that's why the Lord said what He said here. Verse 12 or verse 13 again, Matthew 20 and 13. But He answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? So that's going back really through the Spirit into the covenant. So the Lord is still righteous in giving, you know, whatever gifts He wanted to give to whomever, and whatever portion He wanted to give to whomever, and whatever understanding He wanted to give to whomever, because that's according to His word, according to His Spirit. So we're still under that covenant, you know, no matter what. So this is the time when we come back into that understanding and fall into our places. Verse 14, take that thine is, the scriptures say, it says, take that thine is and go thy way, and I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. So He said, take what you got and go do the work, and He's going to reward you. Now that's getting into what? So take what that is and go and do the work. I'll read it again. Matthew 20 and 14. It says, take that thine is and go thy way, and I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. So the 11th hour servants, those that come in, you know, later, as those that have been in the truth for some time. Because this is all about predestination, you know, and being preordained. Predestinated salvation, that's what this is all about. This is all about predestinated salvation, you know, unto the righteous. So where's that found? Let's go to the book of Romans. So take what you have and go and do the work. Why did the Lord say that? Because it's all about predestination and preordained salvation. That's what this is all about. Romans 8 and 28, that's why the Lord said that. Romans 8 and 28, it reads, Romans 8 and 28, and we know that all things work together for the good to them that love the Most High. That's why the Lord said, take what you have and just go do the work. Why? Because all things work together to the good of them that love the Most High, that do the work, that come back to serving Him according to His word. We know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Most High, to them who are the called according to His purpose. You're going to the call is those that is invited to a banquet, those who've been invited to the proclamation of His gospel. Let me see if I can get there. So this is Romans, once again, 8. I'll read this again. Romans 8 and 28. And we know that all things work together for the good to them that love the Most High. Who are those that love the Most High? Those that meditate in the word day and night. Those who are the commandment keepers. These are they that keep the commandments and the faith of Mashiach. Those that believe in this gospel. Those that believe on the Lord, as the scriptures have said. You know, those that come back to labor in His truth, and those ultimately that endure to the end are going to be the ones that's going to get salvation. So it says all things work together for the good of them that love the Most High, to them who are the called according to His purpose. So really this is all about predestination. That's really all that matters, because the Most High already preordained for all that this is going to happen. Now let's show that further, because it says, you know, it's for them that are the called. That's why we labor for the elect's sake. We endure all things for the elect's sake. So it says for them who are the called according to His purpose. So the call are those that come back into doing His work, and ultimately that endure. It said the call. So this is the work. This is the call.
Strong's G 2822. Kletos.
So it's the word G2822 Kletos. So it says all things work together for them, for the good of them that are the called. The called, it says, kletos, called, invited to a banquet. That banquet is what? That marriage festival, that marriage feast, which is Yahweh Shah marrying the elect back to Yahweh. Called, invited to a banquet, invited by the Most High in the proclamation of the gospel, when we come into the knowledge of this truth, to obtain eternal salvation in the kingdom through Yahweh Shah. So those that are endured to the end, that are preordained, those that endure to the end are the ones that are preordained. They are the ones that's going to obtain eternal salvation, it says, in the kingdom of Hamashiach. Called to the discharge of some office. That's coming into the knowledge of the truth and learning your way and finding your way. Whatever your lane is. And being the best at that. Right? Coming back to rehearsing the righteous acts. Doing the work. Divinely selected and appointed. So really, those that are called are those that are divinely selected and appointed. So let's continue on. Romans 8 and 28, it says, to them who are the called according to his purpose. The Most High calls you and brings you into this truth according to his purpose. You know, and we know in Luke 9, it tells you that, you know, that you're not supposed to take your hand off the plow. You know, when you call into this truth, you've been called according to the Lord's purpose. Verse 29, for whom he did foreknow, for who the Most High foreknew, meaning showing that he knew us before. When you go to the book of, an example of that, when you go to the book of Jude, so it said, for whom he did foreknow. I'll read this real quick. Romans 8 and 29, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren, showing predestination. The first fruits were predestinated. Here's the proof. This is Jude 1 and 5. It said, whom he did foreknow. Jude 1 and 5, I will therefore put you in remembrance. Remembrance of what? The truth. That's the engrafted word. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this. So we knew this before. That shows predestination. That shows reincarnation. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not. So that shows predestination. That shows that we once knew this. Those that can get this. Those that can receive the truth. Continuing on. Just a quick precept. Romans 8 and 30. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. So the Lord, those that are predestinated are the ones that are called back into this gospel. And whom he called, them also he justified. And that justification is the Lord forgiving the elect for their sins. It says, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. He's coming to glorify the elect. Only the elect. Continuing on. What shall we say to these things? If the Most High be for us, who can be against us? So that shows us in this truth the mindset we should have. If the Most High is for us, who can be against us? You know? So let's go back to Matthew 20. Matthew 20, in verse 14, it says, take that thine is and go thy way, and I will give unto thee unto the last, even as unto thee. So we going into predestination, showing that the Most High is going to reward them that diligently seek him. The scripture says he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. It says, is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many shall be called, but few chosen. So those that are called into this, if they don't endure to the end, then they're not the chosen. The scriptures tell us in 2nd Esdras that then shall they know who are my chosen. We're going to know that in these last days. You know? The chosen are going to be protected and they're going to receive salvation. We ultimately going to know, you know, for the elect who are going to be beamed up on those chariots. Although certain of the elect, you know, have been appointed to be martyrs for this truth. it says, verse 17, Matthew 20 and 17, and Yahushua going up to Jerusalem took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock and to scourge and to crucify him, and the third day he shall rise again. Those Gentiles are going into the other nations. You know, the Lord said he's going to be given up unto those other nations, and that was going into the Romans. So continuing on, verse 19, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock and to scourge and to crucify, and the third day he shall rise again. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on my right hand, the one on thy right hand, and the other on thy left hand, in the kingdom. But Yahushua answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask, and are ye able to drink the cup that I shall drink of, and am baptized with the baptism I am baptized with? So Yahushua is making it clear that you know not what you asked for, because the things that were being asked for, once again, was Yahushua showing a distinction, in the spirit of what he had to go to obtain salvation, and who it was that granted salvation or not. And here it is. Verse 22. But Yahushua answered and said, okay, I read 22, verse 23. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father, showing you that the Most High is who gives salvation. He's the one that gives salvation, and no one else can give salvation. Because in Matthew and John, Salakia 17, the 17th chapter, the Lord said that the scriptures say that the Lord gave, the elect unto Yahushua. So let's get a quick precept. This is going into the book of John. This is John 10. So this is why the Lord said here that it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. This is why he said that. It's John 10 and verse 28. So the Most High is who ordains salvation. He's the one that ordained this since the beginning of the world, who the elect are. So Yahushua is making that distinction again. John 10 and 28, and it reads, well, I'll start at 26. John 10 and 26, it reads, But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. And I said unto you, so Yahushua said, you believe not, because you're not of his sheep. So who are of his sheep? His sheep hear his voice, and they follow him, they hearken. So the believers, or the true sheep of the Lord, they believe, and they come back to serving him according to his word. But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So the true sheep of the Lord are the ones that's not standing idle, as was described earlier in the parable of the penny, but those that are out doing the work. Those that are taking with the portion the Lord gave them and multiplying that, with the parallel of the wise and the foolish virgins. So, verse 28, And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, speaking of the elect, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them me, speaking of Yahweh, why Yahushua said what he said, that it's the Father's will of who gets salvation. My Father who gave them me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. So those that were given to Yahushua were the same ones that Yahweh gave to Yahushua, which is the elect. And that's the elect today that you see. So let's continue on. Verse 24. And he said to the, and when the 10 heard it, Salakia, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. But Yahushua called unto them and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and that our great exercise authority upon them. Verse 26. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. So the Lord said, those that are great among you, let him be your minister. You know? And Yahushua was a perfect example of the ministry. He summed the ministry up, you know, with his actions, but one action, you know, in particular. So that one action in particular is going back to the book of John 13 chapter. So he said, those that are great among you, let them be your ministers. So that's the spirit we got to be in his truth. Is being ministers, you know, in his faith. So this is John 13 and 12. Now I'll read this again real quick. I'll read this again what Yahushua said before I bring this precept. This is Matthew 20 and 26. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever, anyone of the believers that's in this faith, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your ministers. And whosoever, verse 27, will be chief among you, let him be your servant. So Yahushua exemplified what it meant to be a minister and a servant in his faith, you know, as an Israelite. John 13 and 12, and it reads, so after he had washed their feet, so Yahushua summed that up with a perfect example of what it means to be a minister and to be a servant, you know. He showed what it meant to be in his faith, what it truly meant. You know, no matter what level of leadership you may be at, we're supposed to be servants and ministers. The Lord said, whosoever is chief among you, let him be a servant and a minister. And he showed us this example of how you sum up the ministry, you know, in with one action. John 13 and 12, so after he had washed their feet, speaking of Yahushua, and had taken their garments and was sent down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done to you? You know what I just did? You know why I just did what I did? Verse 13, ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, ye also to wash one another's feet. So he exemplified and showed how we're supposed to be in this day, you know, to our brethren, to our believers in this truth, you know, to our fellow Israelites, first and foremost, to those that are in this truth, you know, those that are coming back to serving the Lord. It's a certain way we're supposed to move. We're supposed to move in the spirit and show forth the spirit of Yahushua. And this is the spirit of Yahushua personified. It says, if then your Lord and master have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet, which is symbolic of being servants to each other, loving one another, you know, being brotherly. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. So Yahushua said even he wasn't greater than his father. He always paid homage to Yahweh. Yahushua did. So he always put everything into order, into perspective, showing us the perfect example of how we're supposed to minister in this truth. You know, that's why we don't boast. Not of works, lest man should boast. We're supposed to do the work in sincerity. Verse 28. Continuing on, got a few more. And we'll finish it on up. Verse 28, it says, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life as a ransom for many. So he gave our life as a ransom for many. Because the scriptures tell us that, you know, that the Lord gave his life up for the sins of the nation and for his own, for the sins of his past life. You know, as Solomon, Adam, and so on and so forth. It says, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life as a ransom for many. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And that ransom for many in the spirit speaks about how Yahweh Shah didn't come to live a luxurious life. He had that in his past, but the point is Yahweh Shah didn't come to live a luxurious life. He came humble, meek, lowly. He said his life was ransomed. Meaning, from the time, he was a young boy when he came into the ministry, a young man coming into the ministry, I think at age 12, his life was all about doing a service of the Most High. Like he told his parents one time, I believe, I must be about my Father's business. Because his life, the scriptures say, was ransomed. That's heavy. So Yahweh Shah's life was ransomed, meaning he was living a life that was not to be pleasured and to have fun and to, do the things that brought, joy and that brought, pleasure unto him in the flesh. His life was all about, doing the will of the Most High in the spirit. That's heavy. It says, and as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, 2 men sitting by the wayside, when they heard that Yahweh Shah passed by, cried out, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou son of David. And the multitude rebuked him, because they should hold their peace, but they cried the more, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou son of David. And Yahweh Shah stood still and called them and said, What will ye that I shall do unto you? They say unto him, Lord, that our eyes may be open. So Yahweh Shah had compassion on them and touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him. And that's symbolic of us coming back into this truth, now that we've awakened out of sleep and we've received sight again, because the scriptures say that man, Proverbs 21:16, that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So now that we've become alive again, and are not zombies here in Babylon, that's how we got to be. We got to be thankful that the Lord has opened our eyes again, gave us the eye salve to be able to see, understand, and believe. Because we could be amongst the 2/3 of walking dead. So this truth is precious, and we are to handle it as such, and show that through our faith and through our works, and whereby we might be saved. So I'll finish it off with a quick precept. It's the book of Isaiah 33, and it's verse 6, and it reads, And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So the times we're coming into, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, applying it, having faith, praying, enduring, which means to suffer, having patience, also endurance and suffering, unto the end. We are to suffer because the scriptures tell us that we've sinned against the Lord. We have sinned against the Lord. So we must bear the indignation of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah because we sinned against him. We broke the covenant. The Most High didn't break the covenant. We broke the covenant. So we got to bear the indignation, suffer, endure. Endure all hardness as good soldiers of a Mashiach. Isaiah 33:6, And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. This wisdom and knowledge is what's going to keep us stable. This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and having faith in it. And strength of salvation. And ultimately, the strength of salvation comes through what? The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Comes through the fear, the faith, and belief in the word, and endurance. This race ain't to the swift. It's to those that endure to the end. So that's the message. Lord willing, it was edifying to those with eyes to see and ears to hear through the Rekha Kodash. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Barakatah, for giving me another opportunity to come out and preach this word. As the famine of the word nears, it's beautiful just to be able to come out and teach this truth. So I say, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rekha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles who labor faithfully in this truth, and are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. 144,000 of brothers laboring on the 4 corners of the earth to make their calling of election sure. Habayat Madabada, the house of David. Peace, blessings, love, and salutations, to the Akim pushing this truth. And to the believers also that make up the body of Hamashiach, to the Akim and Akwatim who listen and believe on Yahweh Shem Yahushua, as the scriptures have said, you know, to you I say shalom as well. Shalom. Abba Babal. Abba Babal.